With the NBA postseason in full swing, our first controversial moment from the playoffs has finally come to light. Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green was seen stomping Kings forward Domantas Sabonis and received a one-game unpaid suspension for his actions. I'm Carlos Garcia, joined alongside Jett Snyder and Jackson Tortone. And Jett, I'll start with you. Did Draymond deserve the punishment?
Draymond absolutely deserved the punishment. He's not a one-time offender, right? We look back at his history. He's gone after Steven Adams, getting him right in the nards a couple times. He's gone after LeBron. He makes LeBron look like he still plays football every time he plays him, just absolutely decking him across the court. I watched a highlight reel today, and it was just Draymond decking LeBron. That was the whole thing, and it was like five and a half minutes. This guy is ridiculous. Okay, he thinks that his hustle and his heart and everything, he just gets so into the game, and he thinks that that's okay. But there is a certain moment where you got to turn that competitiveness or whatever it is that drives him to do this off and not make these dumb mistakes that cost you your team. He's looking at another suspension in another clutch moment, much like the 2016 finals when he was suspended, that may end up costing him his team at the end of the day. Because we're looking at a Kings team that's let the beam twice already. So Draymond absolutely deserves his punishment. And to be honest, I hope they get bounced because of it, because I'm tired of just us being like, it's okay, Draymond. It's okay. It's okay, Draymond.
First of all, let's clarify something here. His past is irrelevant to his punishment for this particular incident. Like, I'm aware that he has done some dumb things in the past, but you have to look at this individual case and exactly what happened in this game. Now, when that whole collision happened down on that side of the court, it is pretty obvious that Sabonis grabbed his leg. It is fairly obvious by the footage.
He was defending himself.
No.
It did look like he was kind of defending himself.
He was grabbing his leg.
It looked like it was a tangle, a mix-up. But to be fair, Sabonis did grab, but Draymond did incite some violence.
But it was at most a grab, no gator roll, no twist, none of that. It's not a big deal. It's a
grab is still a grab.
Your boy came down on him like it was Sue on Aaron Rodgers in 2011.
I'm not saying there wasn't any intent. I'm sure there was intent with the kick, and there should have been. That is how you get him to let go of your freaking leg. And he needs to get back down to his side of the court in order to get possession or to be on his team's possession. There's no reason why he should have grabbed his freaking leg.
So you saying Draymond just did this as defense to Sabonis grabbing his leg? After all this happens and the ref starts to review it, he goes up to the Kings fans and he gets on, I don't know if it was the bench or the scores table, but he's screaming and he's yelling. He knows that he just stomped one of their star players' ribs. He knows he did that, and he knows that's what Draymond does. So he's getting fired up. You think he's just, I accidentally did that, and then he's making a scene about it? No, he knows that's how he plays.
I'm not saying he did it on accident. I am saying that he did it and that Sabonis deserved it for grabbing his leg. I'm not saying he did it on accident. He definitely did it on purpose. And I'm saying that sometimes it's what you have to do in a physical game like basketball in order to get back down your side of the court. Sometimes you have to be physical. Basketball is not a sport for babies. It is a sport for men who want to be physical, and the physical men win. And that's just how it is.
But there's a difference between physicality and aggression.
Exactly.
You can be physical, you can bump people around, and you can show them, like, who's a man on the court, right? But the minute you start kicking people in the chest, that player's got to go out for an x-ray, determine if there's any fractured lungs or collapsed ribs, anything
Unprovoked,
like that.
I agree. Unprovoked, I agree. But this was provoked, clearly provoked.
That's not physicality. What he did is just dirty. Sabonis maybe was trying to defend himself, is what it looked like from my view once again. Just a little defense, maybe a little leg grab, no gator roll.
Defense is this, grabbing is this.
Once again, no big deal. Look, there's leg grab and then there's rib just kick. There's two levels to this. One's a much more dirty play than something that happens in basketball a lot when guys just get tangled up on the floor.
So the reason that the NBA chose to suspend Draymond for one game unpaid was because the official lettering in the statement by the Vice President of Basketball Operations, the official lettering was that based on his past actions, Draymond Green was suspended. I mean, we've seen countless times, you mentioned a little bit in the intro that, we've seen him. He's gotten Steven Adams, he's gotten Westbrook, he's gotten LeBron, he's gotten James Harden with a poke in the eye. He's a repeat offender. He's a guy who's notorious for that physicality, who exceeds the level of aggression. We've seen that Bob Myers, the GM of the Warriors, he said yesterday that, Draymond's a great player, but there's sometimes where it's complicated to deal with a guy like that. Same thing with head coach Steve Kerr. He said that same thing. Draymond's very physical, and sometimes, it costs his team. I mean, we saw in the 2016 NBA Finals getting suspended in Game 5. Then the Cavs come back, leading to that 3-1 comeback. They're already facing a 2-0 deficit right now against the Kings, who Draymond was talking smack at the beginning of the year, saying, playing a team like the Kings where you don't want to show up on those nights, and now they're in a 2-0 hole. So this could definitely impede on how the Warriors look to, I guess, target the rest of the series.
I agree, and I'm not defending Draymond for his past incidents. I think that he was clearly in the wrong for some of his past incidents. I'm saying for this particular incident. And I think that the NBA was way over egregious with suspending him, especially in a playoff situation. I don't think that deserved a suspension. Maybe a foul, which it was, but no, it was an in-the-moment thing where he wanted to get down on court, and he did what he had to do to get down court.
At the end of the day, he did what he did, and it was dirty, and he showed zero remorse for it, as he always does, and he was hyped about it. So if he continues to do stuff like that, I do feel like action, like a one-game suspension, does need to be put in place, because it's just there's no room to be kicking guys in the ribs in our league. There's no room in our league for that. But I get it's a playoff environment. I'd rather see Draymond in. These are two nice teams, and I want to see that matchup all series long. And it makes me sad that Draymond's going to miss it, but does he deserve it? Absolutely.
I think the league is doing this, putting this punishment in place because, we're only 2 games into each series, more or less, right? So only been a couple games in total in terms of the playoffs this year. I think the league is setting the standard, saying like, hey, we like physicality. We don't want to eject guys like Draymond who are going to sell tickets and really keep these close-knit battles. The NBA doesn't want blowout games. They don't want games to end in 4-game series. Doesn't sell tickets. It's not good for fans. They want to have those close, tight games, 7-game series. When you eject a guy like Draymond, that automatically takes one team out of the equation. You're taking out a star defender, a guy who's really going to be that momentum spark for teams. But the league kind of has to put their foot down and say, hey, you can be physical, but you can't go around kicking guys in the chest. That's not what the NBA is all about.
And as a general president, I agree. But I'm saying in this particular case, he was clearly grabbed, and he clearly needed to do something to get away.
So you believe that the ungrabbing of the leg was more so a fact of him trying to get out of a situation of where he was being held and it wasn't. Do you think the kick was unintentional or intentional?
I think the kick was intentional. It was intentional, but not necessarily to hurt. It was to hurt, but to get away, not to hurt, to injure.
Yeah, it was to get away, and that's why I got him right there, right in the ribs.
And I want
full body, and then he did a little hop to try to walk it off.
And I want to say something
I
want to say something about Sabonis.
What do you want to tell me?
I want to say something about Sabonis.
About Sabonis.
I'm gonna call him Sabonis.
Know the guy that got hurt's name, please.
Well, I'll find.
He's suffering. He's a star. And
yeah, big deal. Yeah. Okay, so I want to clarify something about him. I've never seen that big of a theatrical show that he put on after getting hit in the ribs.
Oh my God.
I've seen other athletes take way harder hits than that, not put on a show like he did.
Yeah, you've seen LeBron do it after Draymond decks him across the court.
Which, arguably, he deserves it too. But we'll get that's a topic for a different day. Now, I've seen athletes take way harder hits than that, not put on the show that Sabonis put on. That was just
he's European.
He laid there, and he went for minutes.
European. He grew up playing soccer. He knows how to flop a little bit, and that's what he's going to do. So,
and that's the problem with the NBA, flopping. It's turning into the next soccer.
Well, those are definitely some great points. Obviously, the league has decided for us 1-game unpaid suspension for Draymond Green. Obviously, the Warriors down 2-0 in that 2-0 hole against the Sacramento Kings, but they'll look to change it. Here at Valley Network Sports for our wrap-up of the Draymond Green versus Domantas Sabonis scandal, I'm Carlos Garcia, joined alongside Jackson Tortone and Jett Snyder.